Yo, you too. Back at it again. I'm gonna do a quick little video on this Jay-Z interview. First of all, I gotta say, overall, I didn't look at the whole interview, but I looked at a good portion of it, and I feel like that interview could have been done way better. Overall, the interview was lackluster. It was trash. Could have done way better. I blame it mainly on the interviewer. I never heard of this guy or whatever. I guess he worked with GQ magazine and stuff. Been around for a little bit, but I never really heard of him. But I don't think the problem is, I don't think that he knew the right question to really ask. I think they could have gotten somebody that was more older, that was more part of the culture, that been around in the culture at the genre for a long time. Even if it was like somebody like Fab Five Freddy or something like that, that would have been a doper interviewer to use to make that interview run its numbers. I think not only did the interviewer not answer the questions that everybody been wanting to know, or should I say ask him the questions that everybody wanted to know, but he didn't really get into depth and real detail with Jay, Another thing too, what I noticed about the interview, it seemed like it was very, very controlled. It's almost like it wasn't nothing that was like, straight up, like, to me, it felt like it was straight up from the heart. Even if Jay would have even interviewed, even if Jay would have had somebody interview him like Memphis Bleek. Memphis Bleek's supposed to be, you're the man, you the bro, as he proclaimed. And, a few other podcasters made a good point, shout out to them, shout out to Star from the Star Report, Choke No Joke, and even Gully TV for making a point, coming out to this hip-hop thing, I felt like even Memphis Bleek would have been a better candidate for somebody to interview Jay. But who knows why Jay didn't really take that approach. I just feel like it was a monumental interview that could have been a lot better. In terms of Jay saying certain things like battle is not, battle rap is not basically part of the culture. I think that's nonsense for the most part, because think about it, hip hop always been built on some kind of battle, whether it's back and forth on diss records, or even it's a straight up this battle culture that you see right now. I think a lot of times with the battle stuff, the thing I could say about it is, I think it's more or less, it's a part of the culture, and at the same time it's kind of like its own little subgenre, but it's still for the most part of the culture, and it's something that help keeps the hip hop alive, helps keep it going. I think the problem with battle rap nowadays is that it hasn't been as good as it was in previous years. Put it like that, but that's just from me, from somebody from the outside looking in. Battle rap is something that just basically is it could be better, but it's still around, it's still here, Now I want to talk about, in terms of sensation of it, it may be kind of like slowly dying down, because it's not as much as in hype as it was in previous years. I think battle rap, basically, it had its peak, especially in the 2000s. I think mainly towards like 2010 and 2013, 14, 15. But that's just me. So for Jay to say battle rap is not part of culture, that's nonsense. It's always been built on some kind of battle, whether it's diss record or anything of that nature. I think Jay, he's just too far removed from the culture. Now, has he evolved? Yes. I mean, granted, he can't talk about stuff that, you know, the same thing on the first record, you can't talk about it on, say, like the fourth, fifth, sixth record, you know. It's all about evolving. So that part I could understand in a way, but at the same time, you know, I think he's just too far removed from culture, and he's just in a different life these days. Put it like that. He's in a different type of way, lane these days. So, you know, that's neither here or there. But this is just basically just my basic reaction, my opinion to the whole interview. Like I said, it could have been conducted a lot better. There's a lot of basically other people he could have went to, but you know, he could have went to people that were just a lot more in tune and more in tune in the culture, and basically they've been around longer, you know. And I feel like a lot of times, in order for people to interview people, they should actually get somebody that's been around longer, not somebody that's just basically they wasn't even around to the height of when Jay was at his height, you know. I mean, the interview didn't even barely know anything about the whole Nas and his back and forth. I mean, you know, but hey, that's just what I observed. So many other things I observed in that interview, for the most part, that I've seen. So like I said, but these are just my main things. He's just far removed from culture. The interviewer should have been somebody different. Memphis Bleek, Fab Five Freddy, those are just two to put out there that's been around longer, but you know, for whatever reason, chose to do that interview with that interviewer, and it just is what it is, and that's just basically it. You know. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. I think this whole Jay-Z interview, was it good? Was it bad? Could have been done better. But just let me know what y'all think. Like, subscribe, share 82 Brooklyn 7. Like, subscribe, share 82 Brooklyn 7 on YouTube. Definitely help get the likes up. Definitely subscribe. And come through more videos about other stuff, and even, of course, more important topics. You know, so definitely help support the channel. And I know I'm ID5. Peace.